Hi there, it's Selena here, and today the movement exploration that I suggest will be around your ribs and breathing. Probably if you ever heard me talking about the rib cage, you know that I don't like this name, and I would much prefer ribs basket, because ribs cage, it's something very rigid in our idea, while rib basket is something that is much more flexible, and that is actually what this structure that we usually call rib cage is. And today I suggest to use an image of a bucket handle as an illustration of the way your ribs move while you breathe. So all these 12 pair of ribs move in a certain way, or can move in a certain way while you are breathing. And imagine that this movement goes like this. Breathe in and breathe out. Up and down. So now, if you use this image of the bucket handle, you can place your fingers. So here is your clavicle. And just there, behind your clavicle, if you make a straight line down from your earlobe, somewhere there, very close to your fingers, will be your very first rib that is connected to your sternum, to your chest bone, but you cannot really sense it behind the clavicle. It's a bit hidden. But here, just under that first rib, will be the top tip of your lungs, which means that if you place your hands there, just behind the clavicles, and start breathing in, breathing out, and just listen to this movement. Listen how every time you breathe in, you become slightly taller. And then you come back to your original place before you started breathing in. And start listening to the movement of this rib, imagining it is this bucket handle that goes up and forward and then down, up and down. And then you can go down, trying to palpate your ribs here, but it actually doesn't matter. Just put your hands on both sides of your sternum, somewhere here, under your clavicle. And then do the same. Imagine that your ribs, like a bucket handle, move up and down, move up and down. And then you can do it a little bit lower. And even go down, you can palpate your sternum as well. And feel how, just put your fingers here and go down and sense how there is this big chest bone that seems to be one solid block. And then somewhere at this end, it stops. There is this pointy bit, and then it's like soft flesh of your belly muscles lower. And it's not a bony structure anymore. So your other ribs will be connected to this point as well. And again, you can imagine them moving as that bucket handle, going up and down, up and down. And just go like this from top to down, listening to this movement with your hands, with your eyes closed. And you can also imagine that every time you breathe in, the volume of this rib basket is changing and is becoming bigger, because not only this structure moves slightly forward, opening here, but also it moves to the side. So if you listen with your hands, and your lower ribs, you can also notice that you can breathe in such a way that your ribs would be slightly pushing your hands out, so that the volume of your rib basket would be increasing in all these different dimensions, at least forward. and to the sides. So just go like this, listening with your hands to this bucket handle movement of your ribs, up and down at different levels. The only warning would be if you breathe here, when you're listening to your breath here, just make sure that you don't force it, because there are some people who use muscles of their neck and shoulders to actually breathe, like something in this way. And then it's a good way to create headaches, but also it's a good way to create pain in your shoulder and even in your arm. So just be careful that you don't overuse this, the structures here, because they're quite small. So the movement there would be small as well, but perceptible to your touch and perceptible in your imagination. While the movement here, where your rib structure is connected, is supported by the diaphragm, it will be probably a bigger movement, like umbrella-like, the umbrella. So that's another image that you could use, an umbrella opening and closing, opening and closing. Yeah, but first of all, listen to this bucket handle, up and down, without forcing it too much. Just listen quietly. And then after you've done this for a while, you can spend as much time as you want. Remember, everything we do in the Feldenkrais method, it's not an exercise, it's a movement exploration. So it doesn't matter how, I'm not going to tell you how many times you should do it or how much time you should spend on it, as long as you're curious, as long as you're able to pay attention and to actually listen. So it absolutely doesn't matter how much time or how many repeats you're going to do. And after you listen to this, check with yourself one more time. Notice how open your chest is, whether there is any difference with how you felt before you started this exploration. Notice how your shoulder blades resting on the top of your rib cage, there behind, and whether it's just overall easier. So that's your movement exploration for this week. And please, I hope you do it, and if you do it, please leave some comments under this video so that I know that you use it, you use this movement exploration somehow, and what is that you notice. That's us for now. Bye-bye.